so much. I love you so much. I love you so much. I love you so much.
Hello, all you positive heads out there. Thanks for tuning your beautiful brainwaves into another episode of the Positive Head Podcast, where we are firmly convinced that creating success and happiness is rooted in understanding the ultimate nature of reality and the fact that as human beings, we are all immensely powerful fractals of the one and only source consciousness, which creates and animates all things. Now, of course, understanding this powerful truth is one thing. Applying this incredibly empowering wisdom to everyday life, well, that's another. Which is exactly why we provide you with a fresh serving of soul food for thought 5 days a week to help constantly remind you of what matters most. You are it. And I'm your host, Brandon Beecham. I'm the reflection and extension of you who will be here each Wednesday interviewing a different consciousness changemaker. And on the other 4 weekdays, leading the way to ensure that your perspective is consistently expanded, your vibration is constantly elevated, and your heart is overflowing and full. Also, this episode of the Positive Head Podcast is being brought to you thanks to the support of Gaia. If you're not familiar, Gaia is the go-to source for streaming consciousness content online, and you can sign up for your first month for only 99 cents at gaia.com/positivehead. That's spelled GAIA.com/positivehead. Check it out. All right, all you positive heads, welcome back to another episode of the Positive Head Podcast. So happy to be here with you all, as always, and going to explore a topic. Surprised, actually, I haven't shared this before. I was looking. Sometimes I think about things and I'm like, have I talked about this before? Over 500 episodes. Sometimes you forget what you say, when the mic is on, when it's off. And so I went back and looked, and I'm sure I've referenced it at least, but I didn't find in the archives an episode about changing your state. And of course, I've talked about this in different ways, but as always, we're looking at things from all kinds of different angles. And this is something that Tony Robbins talks a lot about. And I might share a few videos over a couple days if I can find some more goodness on this wonderful topic. In this case, I found him actually at one of his events talking to a woman, and it gives you some insight into what those events are like to some degree, at least a little snippet anyway. And he helps this woman to change her state, and that's of course a very powerful tool, very powerful thing to understand that we all have the power to do. But before we dive into this topic further, I would like to take a moment to read a review on iTunes. You guys know I love my iTunes reviews. They not only help us to reach new people, which is really awesome, spreading the positivity, but also they fuel my fire. They help me to feel and continue to stay motivated, keep my state stay in a motivated state, right? To continue this labor of love. It means the world to me when you guys take some time to give feedback. So I appreciate that. And this one came from, so if you haven't done it, please do jump onto iTunes and leave a review there. You can also write in directly if you want to ask questions, Brandon@positivehead.com. You can also join the Facebook group, Positive Heads with an S, and write questions there, connect with other listeners. Wonderful, wonderful spot to connect and continue this the energy of this show into the rest of our daily life. So this particular review on iTunes by Scatty8869, My Daily Dose of Sanity. I listen to this podcast every day after The Daily by the New York Times. Which covers news and current events. This helps me keep the existential dread from setting in. Seriously though, I've always been a fairly positive person, but with all of the pressures of hatred and bad news filling my daily feed, I was really starting to feel depressed on a day-to-day basis. This podcast helps keep me in a good place and brings me closer to my true nature, which while I may not love every episode, and Brandon and I disagree on some things, he seems to come at all topics from a place of respect, understanding, and unfailing optimism. On days that I don't vibe with the show, I just scroll back to past episodes instead. Thank you, Brandon. Well, thank you, Scatty8869. I hope this particular episode resonates with you. I think it will. Some interesting little synchronicity. Of course, you're talking about changing your state, essentially, right? By tuning into things. If you tune into something that is filled with hatred and bad news and dread, what do you know? You feel depressed and bad. You tune into something that is optimistic, higher vibration, something that's focusing on what you want to see more of. What do you know? It helps to elevate your vibration, your consciousness. And I appreciate you, the honesty, saying some things you resonate with more than others. That's a perfectly okay thing, isn't it? I mean, we have, and there's even been, some back and forth about certain topics over the last month or so, and even in the Facebook group. And it's okay to disagree. Sometimes, isn't it funny how people feel like if we disagree, like we have to be enemies? There seems to be so much of that information out there, or that idea, and it's just simply not true. So I appreciate you being so forthright with that. And it's a little synchronicity. The song today is one of my all-time favorites that I also can't believe I didn't play, which is Optimistic is the name of it by Radiohead. So a little preview ahead of time announcing because you mentioned optimism there. So cool. All right. So jumping into the whole idea of changing your state. Well, before I do that, actually, there is something that I want to read that is a great segue. Someone had posted on the positivehead.com Facebook page, the public facing page, not the group, The Mirror, which is a little poem by, this name I know I'll butcher, but Gijo Valiancal. Here's how it goes. Once my father and I were walking in a field. Suddenly I tripped. Feeling a sharp pain, I screamed, "Ah!" I was surprised to hear a voice from the mountain, "Ah!" Filled with curiosity, I screamed, "Who are you?" But the only answer I received was, "Who are you?" This made me angry, so I screamed, "You are a coward!" And the voice answered, "You are a coward!" I looked at my father and asked, "Dad, what is going on?" "Son," my dad replied, "pay attention." Then he shouted, "I admire you." The voice answered, "I admire you." My father shouted, "You are beautiful." The voice answered, "You are beautiful." Then my father shouted, "You are wonderful." And the voice again answered the same. I was surprised, but still did not understand. Then my father explained, "People call this an echo. But truly it is life. Life always gives you back whatever you give out. Life is a mirror of your actions. If you want more love, give more love. If you want more kindness, give more kindness. If you want understanding and respect, give it to others. If you want people to be good to you, be good to them. This rule of nature applies to every aspect of your life. Now I understand that life always returns whatever you give. Your life is not a coincidence, but a mirror of your actions." What a beautiful, beautiful little poem there. Beautiful little story. And it is perfectly in line with what I wanted to talk about. So I'm glad I just happened to see someone that shared it online today. What I'm going to share now is talking about changing your state. This is a clip, as I mentioned, from Tony Robbins, one of his events, and someone stands up during the event. And, which is something that he, having been to Date with Destiny, one of his events in Australia a few years ago, it's something that he does a lot throughout the, few day session, or, the few days that we're all together, is he'll have people stand up and talk about things that are going on in their own life and sort of dissect how to fix the problem. And this guy's a master at this. So I wanted to share this person who's depressed, and she's standing up. Now, a little warning here, Tony definitely drops some F-bombs and talks, gets a little blatant with sexual related stuff sometimes, which he does a little bit in this. So if you have kids listening or anything, I just wanted to give a little forewarning on that. But so this is, I found this on the Manny Henke's YouTube page. It's Tony in LA in 2015 on changing your state. Take a listen.
was a really depressing time recently?
Probably, I don't know, last week.
Okay. What were you depressed about? What were you focusing on?
General unhappiness. And I'm always thinking about that I'm unhappy.
You always think about you're unhappy, and what makes you unhappy?
Probably the major thing is the situation with my family, my parents.
And what is the situation with your parents?
I don't talk to them.
You don't talk to them, and that depresses you.
Well, because I feel extremely guilty about it.
Because they're what?
I feel very guilty about it.
So you feel guilty about not talking to them, so that depresses you.
Exactly.
Why wouldn't you just fucking call them?
Because they're very negative people, and
They're negative people.
I get a lot of my negativity from them.
Oh, you get your negativity from them. It's kind of like a disease that you catch. How do we fuck ourselves up?
We think too much, and we think it's somebody else that did it.
Give her a hand, ladies and gentlemen! Give her a hand, for God's sakes! Give her a hand! Give her a hand! She got it. We think too much that what we're experiencing is because of other people. Who is she focusing on to feel depressed? Who? Herself. And how her parents are the cause of why she's so fucking negative. Those negative bastards. The truth of the matter is what she calls negative is probably them trying to love her in a way that she doesn't appreciate. Probably being worried about her, maybe disproportionately so, maybe not. Trying to get her to do some things they think will make her happy, which may or may not work. Maybe they are in a really negative place in their own life. Maybe they have no compelling future. Maybe they've not learned to live in a beautiful state. But who the fuck would teach them? She could if she wanted to, because she has access to the answers now. But she can't have those answers when she's focusing on something outside herself. In order to get depressed, what did she do? How many of you saw her change her body immediately without getting any fucking coaching from any of us? Raise your hand. And where did she drop? What did she do with her body? She what? Dropped her shoulders, and then she wanted to sit down and drop even more. Did her breathing get full or shallow? Which one? Slow or fast? Did her voice go up or down? She talked fast or slow? Sound familiar? Oh, and then what did she focus on? Things she can't control, other people. Things that are affecting her that she can't control. What's missing from her life? Did you hear it? That's all it takes. It doesn't matter if you give her medication or not. And she's got a habit for doing it. Have you ever had an incredible orgasm? Oh yeah. Like an explosive one that just blew your own mind?
Oh yeah.
Has this happened more than once?
Yeah.
Were you alone or with someone?
With somebody.
You were with someone. That's good. She was with someone. Give her a hand for God's sake. I want you to remember that time, one of the very best experiences. Do you remember one specifically?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. I want you to close your eyes. I want you to remember that moment when it was nearing the peak of your experience. Okay? Good. There we go. And I want you to breathe the way you're breathing near the peak. Give her a hand. Give her a little support here, ladies. Breathing near that peak. I want you to focus on what you're focusing on right before the peak. Yes. Good. And then did you make a sound at the peak, or did you say something?
It's too loud.
It's too loud. Go ahead and make that loud sound.
Oh yeah, baby.
Okay, do it the way you really did it. Say it the way you really said it. Go. The way you really did it. No bullshit. Like you're there. Make whatever that sound is. Say whatever you said. Go.
Oh my God, yes, baby.
That's it. Do it again. A little stronger. Come on, a little stronger.
Oh my God. So good. I love it.
Okay. Now, are you feeling depressed right now? No. What are you feeling?
Ecstatic.
Ecstatic. So she could go from an 8 of depression to ecstatic how fast? By just changing what she focused on. By the way, when I used words, did you see this? I asked her some questions, which changed her focus which changed her physiology. How many follow this? Now there's a little bit of a filter, 10,000 people are here, and so some part of her starts with a little acting as well, I got it. But did she really feel it in the very beginning? How many saw her spontaneous smile and the connection in her body? How many saw it immediately? Right? Whatever she did with it, because of being in the room, is a different thing, but she felt it immediately. How fast can you change your state, my friends? How fast? How fast? Now, whether you do it consistently or not is based on the last and most important distinction. Are you still with me? We've covered a lot of territory. Are you with me? And we need your energy to be strong. Sit in your chair. Give her a big hand. Thank you very much. Give her a hand.
So I love even the way he's asking the questions. And I mean, you guys can hear it right away, right? She's depressed because she doesn't talk to her parents because they're so negative. And it's like, of course he goes into the old song, the Montel, what's his name? Montel Jordan, I think. This Is How We Do It song. And it's like, I'm feeling really down because I don't talk to my parents because they're so negative. I mean, just that alone, it's like, what could be the solution here? And isn't it funny how we, when we think what we're experiencing is because of other people, no one can ever make you feel anyway. It's never, ever someone else's fault for the way you feel. They may have done something that led you to choose to feel a certain way, but make no mistake, no one can make you feel anyway. Any kind of way. So, and of course it's very common. I mean, I've certainly done it many times, and I'm sure I'll have those moments again. But the real key here is catching yourself. When we think what we're experiencing is because of other people, when you have that light bulb moment, like, oh, wow, hold on. Maybe what they're doing is, as he put it, man, I thought it was really, really powerful. What you call negative many times, especially with like family and loved ones and parents. And, this is what instantly came to mind to me when he said this. What you call negative is probably someone trying to love you in a way you don't appreciate. Almost all the time, I would say, with family. It's based off of their view of the world and their way, and with their own sort of, in many cases, broken, way. How much work have they done on their own self-development? Where are they at in their own development? So then how does it translate? How does it come through that filter of their life experience and where they're at in their own journey is them trying to love you many times, right? So it's I can think of me and my son. We got into a little tiff last night, and it was over something really, really silly, but it's a great example. He's got a big meeting tomorrow with a manager for, he's pursuing acting, and we were talking about the way he's combing his hair. He started changing his hairstyle in the last few weeks, and it's like more like bangs as opposed to before. It was kind of messy and just a better look in my opinion. So I started talking to him about, this headshot that we were using, and the hair looks great, but now he's doing it different. And we kind of went back and forth, and it got into this not really good state. And it was really, I was coming from wanting the best for him, right? As in, hey, I really, really believe this look is better. Now, at the end of the day, it's really a small issue, but this is just an example. So I was coming from a good state, but from a good underlying intention, my delivery was off. I got, having the father-son relation and things getting irritated the way he's responding to me, and it just sort of escalates. And then it's kind of, and then he even came to me and it's like, oh, you're throwing, here I have to practice, and he's got to do a monologue, live and everything. He's like, and you're kind of throwing me into this messed up state. And then it came up, well, really, I can't put you in any kind of state. And we talked about all this. So it's great that we're talking about it today. And one of the reasons that it led to me wanting to have this conversation. So what he was calling negative was me trying to love them in a way they didn't appreciate. And for me, the work is, hey, don't let yourself, don't let the true message get lost. And that's what was happening with me being sort of overly critical about what he was doing. So anyway, moving back onto this to kind of continue covering what Tony and what happened there and the whole journey he went on with this woman. So what he was saying is, here's the thing. You can teach your parents, right? You can teach them, but if you wanted to, you could fix this whole thing, but you can't access the answers when you're focusing outside of yourself, when you're making the problem external of yourself. And, he talked about when she first started going into being depressed at the very beginning, and you couldn't see it, of course, because it's, in the video, but her whole body language changes. Slumped shoulders, talked slow, wanted to sit, shallow breathing. These are the things. Notice when we're such sensitive, empathic beings. When you are drumming up depressive energy, everything shifts. She was focusing on what she can't control and what's missing and what's wrong. It's just all made up, though. It's just, she could have focused on anything. She could have focused on, the ants crawling on the floor, and that'd been a different point of attraction and focus. She could have focused on anything. So it's such a powerful thing to understand. Don't focus on things you can't control or what's missing. This is the whole underlying point in every interaction that you have. And I love how he pointed out, doesn't matter if she's medicated or not, talking about using drugs to fix these things. It's where the point of focus is. And you can control the point of focus, which he did with an exaggerated example of, getting her to reference a powerful sexual experience, an orgasm where she was, filled with bliss and, ecstatic. And of course, her whole physiology changed. And she changed what she focused on. She changed her focus. And all of a sudden she's in a elated state. Just a choice of choosing where to, pinpoint your focus. And it's such a powerful thing, isn't it? To know that we have the ability to do that just by shifting where we put our gaze. This is the superpower that you all have. Just stop focusing on the things that you don't need or want that bring you more of what you don't want. Well, this has been a lovely little venture down this topic with you guys. I've enjoyed it as always, and we may go further down the rabbit hole with this in forthcoming episodes. For now, I'm going to leave you with a song by Radiohead, as I mentioned earlier, Optimistic. From actually one of my favorite albums. And speaking of my son, his earliest memory of music is me playing this when he was like a baby. So it's his favorite album, Kid A. This is the song Optimistic from Radiohead, Kid A. Hope you enjoy. Until next time, journey well. Love you all. Remember, you are beautiful, you are wonderful, and I admire you. Also, if you're craving more consciousness elevating content, be sure to check out Gaia, which is my personal go-to source for streaming consciousness content on the web, where you can stream an incredible 7,000 plus exclusive videos covering 5,000 years of wisdom. As you all hear me constantly say, it's a daily conscious effort to maintain an elevated vibration. And if you're looking to journey deep down the rabbit hole to do so, then Gaia is the best place I know of to do it, period. And you can sign up for your first month for only 99 cents at gaia.com/positivehead. That's spelled GAIA.com/positivehead. Check it out.
optimistic. This one went to market. This one just came out of the swamp. This one drops the payload. Fire for the animals living on animal farm. You can try the best you can. You can try the best you can. The best you can is good enough. You can try the best you can. You can try the best you can. Best you can is good enough. I'd really like to help you, man. I'd really like to help you, man. Nervous, messed up marionette, flying around on a prison ship.